Good afternoon, everyone. We're glad to have you all with us today and welcome to our second session of Air Force Talks. We're excited to have a great lineup for you today, and our first speaker is going to be Miss Erin Taylor. She is going to be speaking to us on Find Your Mountain. And Erin works at Hill Air Force Base in the Office of Special Investigations, where she serves as a criminal indexing and investigation specialist. She spent 23 years in the Air Force on active duty, retiring in 2011. Thank you for your service. And she has served in OSI for about 7 years now. She loves hiking and the outdoors and has hiked all over Utah and the world, including Mount Kilimanjaro and Machu Picchu. She believes her connection to the outdoors has helped her heal following a difficult time in her life. So Miss Erin, welcome, and over to you.
On January 4th, 2014, after 5 grueling days of hiking, I stood on top of Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest point. There's not a lot of oxygen at 19,341 feet, and your mind plays tricks with you. I collected my thoughts and I did what I was there to do. I silently released my demons. I told them they were no longer welcome in my head, and that they were staying on that mountaintop. You know those demons, those voices in your head that tell you you're not good enough, it's all your fault, you're not worth it. They gang up on you and do everything they can to make you doubt yourself. It takes something truly extraordinary to be able to let them go. But there I was, standing on my mountain. I was finally free of them and free to live without their burden. My story is not unlike many. I faced a painful divorce, single motherhood, and a move to a new state. All of this on top of a PTSD diagnosis. And then I took a hike. And then I took longer and more difficult hikes. I found my mountain. You can find your mountain too. We're surrounded literally and figuratively with mountains. Find the thing that will challenge you to be your best. Like many of you, I joined the Air Force right out of high school. I flowed through the ranks and career fields. I began my Air Force career in personnel, and then I moved on to communications, including a few years here at Hill in the 729th Air Control Squadron. I spent 5 years as a first sergeant, which I can only describe as the best and worst time of my career. During this time, I dealt with the death of an airman in my unit, followed shortly thereafter with the deaths of a married couple in my unit. I knew them well, and I had spent the past couple of years helping them with their various issues. And I was the one who found them dead in their car. This event and the fallout shaped the remainder of my career. I moved to a new base where I hoped I could escape their ghosts, but that doesn't happen. They follow you. I deployed, and when I came home, I knew something was wrong with me. I was so unhappy and on edge. I cried constantly and jumped at the slightest unexpected noise. It took everything I had, but I finally sought help. It wasn't easy, and there were many setbacks, including giving up my first sergeant diamond. I knew I had to focus on myself, and the demanding role of first sergeant just wasn't something I could do anymore. With the support of my leadership, I was eventually referred to the VA's PTSD program. This set me on the path to recovery. At least I thought it did. The next year was full of transition and turmoil. I retired from the Air Force after 23 years, moved across the country, and my husband of 22 years left me and our 2 kids all in the span of 9 months. He left at what I thought was my lowest point, but I sunk lower. I literally had to pick myself up off the floor each day. I was going through the motions of being a mother, a homeowner, a person. I look back at pictures of myself during that time and I see a shell of a human being. Divorce does a number on you. I doubted myself in everything. I had no self-esteem and no direction. One day, I told the kids we were going on a hike. They were not thrilled. It was a short hike, only about 2 miles, but to me it was exhilarating. I started going on longer and more difficult hikes. I got the right boots and the right gear. One day, an old friend of mine said she was thinking about putting a group together to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Without even knowing what country it was in, how much it would cost, or it was even something I could do, I said, I'm in. I knew at that moment that mountain would save my life. I spent the next 10 months hiking as much as I could to prepare. There were so many miles on trails and on the treadmill. I loaded up my backpack with cans of soup for weight and hiked trails near my home. Later, though, I realized those soup cans, they were my demons. I had to carry them around and fill their weight. Finally, we flew to Tanzania, and 6 days later, I was standing on top of Africa. I released my demons that day, and I came home a stronger and different person. After I found my mountain, I wanted more. I hiked whenever I could. In fact, hiking was what brought my husband and I together, our shared interest. Our first big hike after we started dating was a harrowing one-day hike across the Grand Canyon from the South Rim to the North Rim, over 25 miles. Along with another couple, we happily hiked the 7 miles and 4,400 feet down to Phantom Ranch in the bottom of the canyon. It wasn't long after that that my friend's husband started to get sick from the heat. It hadn't been forecast to be 112 degrees in the canyon that day, and that, together with an unexpected water station outage, was making for quite a day. At one point, he decided that he couldn't go on. We knew there was a ranger station about 2 miles ahead, and so my husband and I rushed there as quickly as we could. The ranger station was empty, but there was a phone there, a sort of 911 to a park dispatch. The dispatch told her that the nearest ranger was 2 miles in the other direction and that we should wait there for him. It took quite a while, but he finally showed up and went off to search for our friends, again telling us to stay there. Finally, after what seemed like hours, my friend came rushing up to tell us they were going to stay overnight in the canyon with the ranger and that we should go on. By this time, it was starting to get dark. We still had 7 miles and 4,200 feet of elevation to go. We had headlamps, but it was disorienting in the dark. We passed many groups that obviously were not prepared. In fact, those 7 miles is worthy of a story all on its own. Finally, 18 hours after we left the South Rim that morning, we arrived at the top of the North Rim. Going down, that had been easy. It's that climb up where you really have to dig in to get to the top. After I came home, a friend of mine said, if you can survive that, you should marry that guy. So I did. I hiked so much because it kept me grounded. There's a line in the song Carry On by the band Fun that says, may your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. And I think of that all the time. Every step I take is moving me forward and away from my past. There were more hikes. I climbed up 7 of Colorado's 14ers. Those are mountains over 14,000 feet high. We went to Peru and hiked 45 miles over 4 days to Machu Picchu. That one was rough, more emotionally than physically, but it reminded me that there are still challenges out there. Not every hike is easy or inspirational. Take a look at this picture. This 3-day hike to Red Castle in the High Uintas started out sunny, but by the second day, the trail was mud. And if you look real close, you can see my 4-pound Yorkie in that picture. So many of us share a life similar to mine, but so unique to the rest of the country. Service to our nation, while deeply fulfilling, can take a toll on you, on your marriage, on your very sense of being. I took a hike and I found myself on a mountaintop. My message to you is to find your mountain. Find the thing that challenges you to be your best, to strive for, to give you self-worth and confidence. Maybe you don't do mountains. There's something out there for you. Whatever it is, you're going to have to step outside of your comfort zone. You have to pack the soup cans. You can't leave them at home. There will be setbacks and challenges, maybe even some mud. It will be worth it. Maybe your mountain will save your life like mine did.
Erin, thank you for your time with us today. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for your 23 years of service, for your growth, and also for spending time with us today. I hope that all of you are inspired by her talk just as much as I have been. Every time I head out on a hike, I think about her message. Sometimes the hike is healing, and sometimes that hike is a message to yourself that you have done and can do hard things. So again, Erin, thank you so much for your time with us today.